Kyoto is one of Japan's most popular tourist destinations, and for most tourists reachable by a 2.5-hour Shinkansen train ride from Tokyo or a 75-minute normal train ride from the Kansai airport in Osaka. The city has many interesting places to visit, and a great starting point to explore them is Kyoto Station. This is not only where the Shinkansen and other intercity trains arrive and depart from, but also the home of many local train and subway lines. In front of the building there's a taxi stand and a bus station with bus lines that will take you to most of the city's tourist attractions. On our first day in Kyoto, we decided to head for the eastern part of the city. The Gion area and its surroundings has many attractions that can be explored by foot. The plan was to take the bus to a bus stop as close as possible to the Kiyomizu-dera Temple, and then walk the last part up to the temple grounds. And to do this, we started off at Kyoto Station with the Rocky bus number 100. After exiting the bus, we just followed the signs and the flow of people up the hill to the entrance of the temple area. The entrance to Kiyomizu-dera is dominated by the two main gates here in the front and the 3-story pagoda in the back. Further up the hill, you pass several smaller temple halls, as well as fountains of sacred water to rinse your hands with. Unfortunately though, the famous main hall terrace was undergoing restoration work when we were there. But this is normally how it looks in the autumn and this in the winter. The wooden buildings of the main hall were constructed in 1633, and inside it you will find the principal image for worshipping in the temple, namely the statue of the 11-headed, 1,000-armed Kannon Bodhisattva. In addition to the main buildings, there are also a number of smaller shrines and fountains of sacred water that makes for a great atmosphere. In the back of the complex you will find the famous Otowa waterfall, where visitors can catch each of the 3 streams of pure water to pray for purification of their senses and to make their wishes come true. So after a light refreshment, it was time for us to move on. Leading up to the temple, there are narrow streets and alleys with great atmosphere and a number of restaurants and shops selling all kinds of souvenirs. And a bit further down, you can visit Ishibekuchi Alley, one of Kyoto's most beautiful lanes, taking you back to the world of samurais and geishas. A 100 meters further down the street, you will find Kodai-ji Temple. This temple of Zen Buddhism was established in 1606 in memory of Toyotomi Hideyoshi, one of Japan's greatest historical figures. The buildings are surrounded by impressive gardens, one of which is a rock garden consisting of a large field of red gravel meant to represent the vast ocean. Behind the temple there's a hill with tea houses and a mausoleum. And on your way down, you pass through a small bamboo forest, as well as some leftovers from Game of Thrones. Our next stop was one of Kyoto's most famous shrines, the Yasaka Shrine. And on our way there, we met this little parade. The Yasaka Shrine has a massive main entrance gate, and just inside it there's a large area with street food vendors. So if you come here in the evening, there's absolutely no need to have dinner first. Following the row of vendors will lead you to the main area of the shrine, which includes the famous dance stage, with hundreds of lanterns that get lit in the evening. Each lantern bears the name of a local business in return for a donation. Down from the Yasaka Shrine, you enter into the shopping area of Shijodori Street. But first, you might want to take a short detour down Hanami Lane. well known for its geishas. The street is lined with small high-end restaurants and tea houses. The geishas working here though are not easy to spot, but if you're lucky, you might just see one hurrying from one restaurant to another. Further down Shijodori, you cross the Shijo Bridge with great view of the Kamo River and all the restaurants along its bank. And on both sides of the bridge, the shopping areas of Shijodori Street, which is closed off to traffic and very busy in the evening. So that concludes our first day in Kyoto. On our second day, we decided to explore the Arashiyama district in the western part of the city, home of the famous bamboo forest and the Togetsu-Kyo Bridge. To get there, we took the Sagano line from Kyoto Station to Saga Arashiyama Station, and from there we just followed the signs towards the bamboo forest. On the way there, we stopped at the Nonomiya Shrine. Despite its small size, this shrine has a lengthy history, founded in antiquity as a purification shrine for imperial princesses. It has a small main altar, as well as several sub-shrines in a pleasant, moss-filled garden. Further on, just before the entrance to the bamboo forest, we visited the beautiful Tenryu-ji Temple, the most important temple in Kyoto's Arashiyama district. This temple of Zen Buddhism was built in 1339 and features several halls, as well as a beautiful landscape garden with a central pond surrounded by rocks and pine trees. After exploring the vast temple grounds of the Tenryu-ji Temple, it was finally time for the bamboo forest. This is one of Kyoto's most photographed sites. It doesn't take that long to walk through, but it's well worth it for its beauty and its atmosphere. Just right when you exit the bamboo forest, you'll find the beautiful Ukuchi Sanso garden. This was the second home of the late silent movie actor Tenjiro Okuchi. He was a major star from the 1920s until his death in 1962. This 20,000 square meter property includes buildings, lovely gardens, and a network of paths, some of which leading up to a pavilion with a sweeping view of the entire city of Kyoto. By the entrance of the garden, there's a tea house where you can sample some tasty green tea. After touring the Okuchi Sanso garden, we headed through the park and down to the river, towards the Togetsu-Kyo Bridge. The Togetsu-Kyo Bridge dates back more than 1,000 years. The present construction is from the 1930s. The bridge itself is not very beautiful, but the surroundings are nice and the river has a rich variety of birds. Just across the bridge you have the entrance to the Iwatayama Monkey Park. You still have to walk up quite a long path though to get to where the monkeys are. On top of the hill you have a feeding house and a large area where the monkeys can roam freely. If you want to interact with the monkeys, there are a few rules that you should follow. Inside the feeding house, you can buy monkey food and feed the monkeys through the wire fence. And of course, make sure you get your favorite Instagram picture. From the monkey park you also get a great view of the city. So before we left Arashiyama, we had a short stroll through the center of the area that has some nice shops and restaurants. So after 2 very busy days in Kyoto, we decided to concentrate on only one site on our last day, namely the Fushimi Inari Shrine, maybe Kyoto's most famous tourist attraction. The shrine is very easily reachable by a short 5-minute train ride from Kyoto Station to Inari Station, and to get there you can use the JR Nara line. The entrance of Fushimi Inari is dominated by a large torii gate dating back to 1589, as well as several beautiful halls and shrines. However, the primary reason most foreign visitors come to Fushimi Inari is to explore the torii gate covered mountain trails at the back. The hike to the top and down again takes about 2 or 3 hours, but you can of course turn around whenever you want. The torii gates along the entire trail are donations by individuals and companies, and you will find the donator's name and the date of the donation inscribed on the back of each gate. And the bigger the gate, the bigger the donation. Along the trail there are a couple of places where you can buy food and drinks, which is absolutely necessary if you're here on a hot day like we were. A bit closer to the top there are some separate areas with shrines that are easy to overlook and walk right by, but these should definitely not be missed as they are one of the highlights of the hike. With almost no tourists and an eerie silence, these places have a fantastic atmosphere. As you get closer to the top of the trail, the density of the torii gates decreases. And when you finally reach the top, you might not even notice it if it hadn't been for a small sign. On the very top there's a simple main shrine and some smaller ones in the back, and among them are stacks of small torii gates donated by people with a more limited budget. After going back down again, there are some restaurants and souvenir stalls by the exit. Well, that's all I have from Kyoto, and I leave you with a little magic trick from our Kyoto hotel room.